Okay, let's try this again. I love when I hit Facebook Live and the video goes down because I don't have signal and it's embarrassing. It's like this little tossing my phone around like, oh no, delete it. So, waiting for some people to get on. Happy Friday to everybody. How are you guys feeling? How's the week been? So, wanted to talk about peace and ask you guys, do you guys feel peaceful? How often do you feel peaceful? What is your vibrational frequency? Where is it living? How's your vibration? Hi, Adrian. How are you? So I had a lot of time to think today because I was basically on the 101, driving along, listening to rap, dancing, thinking about life, stuck on the traffic. And I started thinking about, how often do we feel peaceful? Is feeling peaceful important? Or, we're just kind of here. What are we doing here? So I think that in order to feel peaceful, we have to really examine what our models of reality are, what our beliefs are, what our truths are, and really think about, what are my truths and what are the truths that I've been given and what have I bought into that is holding me back and maybe suffocating me and not letting me expand in love. So I challenge you to ask yourself as far as, what am I believing in? What's driving my existence? And is this an absolute or a relative truth? A relative truth, obviously, is when something is true for someone, but not necessarily true for you. An absolute truth is like we are bound by gravity here in 3D. So I think that often we buy into things, and these things are not necessarily true. And we need to really re-examine what we're believing in and how it's directing our experience. So in terms of vibrational frequency, where would you say that hi Hamdi, where would you say that you exist? Most of the planet is living in fear, shame, guilt, anger, and pride, which on a vibrational reality is 20 to 150. At 200, we are actually at courage and we're expanding. So anything below 200 is contraction. So are you contracting or are you expanding? Because most of the planet lives at around 20 to 207, which is totally contraction about to expand, which is kind of sad and kind of explains why a lot of people don't feel peaceful, and why a lot of people have a hard time consciously connecting to other souls. So love or above is 500 and above, and anything around 350 is expansion. So if most of the planet's living around 200, that's kind of crazy. It's basically like having, 3 dance moves and moving within this small vibrational reality on the 3D plane. So you go out to the club and you want to do cool dance moves, but you've got these 3 moves and all you do is move from here to here. You're never expanding all the way over here, which is kind of crazy. And I think that, when I was growing up anyway as a child, I was on a very low vibration. I was in fear and shame and anger and sadness. And that was pretty much, I existed within this little, dance area. And only when I started to work through some of my past pain, started working through challenging my beliefs and saying, is this an absolute or relative truth? Does this support me in my expansion? Is this supporting me on my path? Does this feel true to me? Does this feel good to me? I don't think we ever stop and really think about, is this truth my truth? Is this someone else's truth? Is this helping me or hindering me? And in not doing that, I think that a lot of the dialogue that goes around and around in our head is really, really challenging. What's up, Donnie? It's like every Friday you're on from the East Coast. I feel so loved. So just talking about how often do you feel peaceful? Is it 90% of the time? 10% of the time? Hardly ever? I think that if we could feel more peaceful, we could decide to consciously act versus unconsciously act and be angry and crazy in our interactions. And that's what you see in the world today. A lot of people are not feeling peaceful. There's a lot of inner work to be done. There is questioning our models of reality, our beliefs, our truths, and asking whether or not they're absolute or relative. And I would challenge you to think about, what you believe. What's up, Shawnee? Yeah, Shawnee, sorry. I'm like in the flow here. So basically, I would challenge you to question, what are you believing in? Is this a relative or an absolute truth? And is it hurting me or is it lifting me? So some of the things that I think really cause us to be not peaceful is basically, we look in the mirror and we're like, oh wow, I'm not feeling really skinny today. And all of a sudden our vibration goes way low because we are making how we feel predicated on external things. So whether or not we get external validation from someone we like, or whether or not we get that job, or whether or not we feel really skinny and in shape, or whether or not, you know, whatever's happening, but we're allowing our peace to be affected by external things. And that's a really hard and challenging place to be, because when we allow external things to affect our peace, basically we're not able to be peaceful because we're out of control. So the first thing I think is to really think about, where does your vibrational frequency live? Are you at 500 or above sometimes? Are you down at 20? Are you at 100? And how to control that is the first thing I think would be to bring your power to the front, to know that you're in control and decide that you want to be peaceful. Decide that your peace is not predicated on external things, such as external validation or whatever's happening in your life. Decide that you're going to be happy and peaceful and calm in the middle of a storm, because life is going to be a chaotic storm at times, and you're going to have to decide whether or not you want to be a victim and let people push you and pull you around, or you're going to decide that, yeah, I'm a fucking spiritual badass, I got this, like, I'm in control. And I think that one of the things is building sacred space. So when we build sacred space, we have a space within us, which starts to happen when we begin to meditate. It's basically, you know, you start meditating and you start facing your fears and you start to know who you are. You start to know what you believe in, what resonates, why you're here on the planet, what you want to do with your time, where you want to spend your energy. And it starts to expand the more you meditate. And the more you meditate, you create this sacred space where you realize that you're in control, you're powerful, and that you are going to decide that when things come up, you can decide what you want to do with them. So one of my friends said to me when I was driving over here back from the airport on the 101 that he's really upset because something happened with his money and he's totally concerned about his money. Hi, Caitlin. I know meditation is so just next level. It really is. It's hard to get anywhere without it. So he said to me, I'm really worried about money. And I sent him this message and I said, you're a spiritual badass. So you can either be a victim and let this money thing push you and pull you around and ruin your entire day, bring your energy down, or you can get in control. So I said, you know, remember that you're powerful. You trust yourself. You trust the process. You trust spirit. And you're going to invite it in. So you're going to accept, okay, I'm a little bit concerned about money. The money's going to come into the room and the money's going to have a sign on it that says money, fear, look at me. Yeah, I'm going to ruin your whole day. Worry about me. And then you're trying to, you know, have some lunch, do some things, and you see the money thing is dancing around and giving you a hard time. And all you got to do is withdraw that energy. You're in control of where you apply your energy and what you want to pay attention to. So the money thing is there, but you know what? I'm in control. So I'm going to choose a better thought. I'm going to choose to understand how to transmute that energy and bring my vibrational frequency up. So I'm going to choose to think about how grateful I am and how much amazing things I have in my life and what I'm going to do. And I'm going to focus that energy on being grateful. I'm going to focus that energy on how I'm powerful and how I'm not going to be a victim and get pushed and pulled around by external things that are happening. I'm going to put blinders on like the horses do when they race, and I'm going to be focused. I'm in control of what I'm paying attention to. And whatever we allow or focus on creates our vibrational frequency, whether we bring it up or down, and it's going to create our reality, and we're in control of that. So once we know that we're in control, we know that we're powerful, we can choose where we focus our energy. And when things come into my space that I am not interested in having in my space, I immediately withdraw that energy. I direct it to something else and I transmute it. And I think that we can always be doing that. So most of the people in the world are caught up on external things, and we're in the victim mindset, and we're just going round and round and round, and we feel like we have no choice. Well, we do have a choice. We can decide to expand. One of the other things I think that we can do to be peaceful is to honor and respect ourselves, to start speaking our voice, to start saying, I want this and I will accept this, and to say, I don't accept this and I don't want this. And source energy is always listening to what we're focusing on, whether we want it or we don't want it. So if we feel good, we're in the vortex. We're aligned with the vortex, and we're manifesting faster and bigger and better things all the time. And when we don't feel good, we're not aligned. So when we're living on that vibrational frequency from 20 to 175 and we don't feel good and we're in contraction, we're not going to be manifesting the life that we want. We're not going to be feeling good. We're not going to be feeling in love and connected to other people. Like I said, when I was a child, I felt disconnected from my true self, from what my truths were, my absolute truths. And I didn't feel connected to very many people. And I have to tell you that now, after years and years of meditating and stuff, and working through a lot of my past pain that was helping me well, not helping me, but basically making me contract and stay fearful, I've been able to unload some of that and take flight. And every person that I meet now, I feel compassion for them. I feel connected to them. I know that I'm them and they are me. And I know that as I work on me and I raise my vibrational frequency, I'm raising the frequency of the planet. And I know that small things make big changes for the planet. So I think that when you think about, stuff that's coming into your head and your truths and the rules, the cultural, and societal programming that we're all subjected to, and when you start to strip that away and contemplate and ask and say, is this true? Why am I living this way? Or why am I feeling like I can't do this? What is the belief that is stopping me and suffocating me and holding me back? And when you start to change those beliefs, you start to be able to be more aligned with things that are right for you and also more in flow. So I challenge you to ask why you're doing something. What is the end goal for this? And is this an absolute or relative truth for you? And if it's not, then get rid of it. I challenge you to bend it, break it, burn it, and banish it. All B's, right? Like I'm such a cool badass. But anyway, they are all B's, so it is kind of cool. But definitely get rid of them. Just banish them. Start asking yourself. That was one of the most important things that my father told me growing up. He said, Kendra, there's going to be a lot of hype. Don't believe the hype. Go within and basically take time and contemplate and question, why am I doing this? Why do I want to get married? Why do I want this job path? Why do I want to wear these clothes? Just literally question every single thing that you're living by right now. And I promise you that you'll come across some things that are no longer aligned with you. I think that our models of reality are a living, breathing thing that are always shifting and changing. And sometimes things are supporting us and sometimes they're not. So I think that we can start clearing away some of those beliefs and start really thinking about, what makes you happy and what makes you feel peaceful. Start saying no to things that no longer work for you and start, telling your truths to people. Start getting out there and start connecting with people. It is such a crazy world, and there are so many people that feel really disconnected from themselves, disconnected from other people. But once we start really waking up and doing the work, we feel connected to everyone because we truly are. Separation is such an illusion in our 3D reality, and we really have to transcend that so we can raise the vibration of the planet and the vibration of ourselves. We're here for pleasure and peace, and we're here to help other people. And once we realize that we're powerful and we can start taking control, we can definitely start shifting that. So think about where you live in your vibrational reality and how you can raise that and how you can transmute that and bring it up, because the higher you rise and the more you stay within that reality, the easier it is to stay there and you keep expanding. But if you're someone that is happy than sad and you're basing your whole existence on external things, you're constantly going to be, crashed under the wave of confusion. And that's where I lived for a really long time. I was, a very sad, miserable, suicidal little child. And it wasn't until after, beating cancer, I had a newfound awareness for, the gratitude and wanting to seek and find out what my truth was. We're so often told other people's truths and we never question them. We just take them on like they're our own, slap them onto our back, and they start to weigh us down. And then we wonder why we can't take flight or do all of the things that we're here for. So I challenge you to ask why you're doing stuff and what's going on and what makes you feel peaceful. Start doing more of what makes you feel peaceful, because from a place of peace, we're in power. And when we're peaceful, we're present. We can actually look people in the eye and consciously connect on a deeper level. And we stay more connected to ourselves, to the vortex, to spirit, and we're able to manifest faster and we're able to feel better. So I challenge you, look at your beliefs and burn them to the ground. Get new beliefs and be conscious of how your energy feels, and be conscious of where you're giving your time and energy to as far as your thoughts. If you're being pulled in circles, most people's minds are really loud because they're not meditating and they don't know how to turn down the noise, nor do they know how to transmute that, accept it, call it in, and basically withdraw that energy and choose to bring something else in place of that. And that's a really powerful thing. I mean, I still, even at this point, after, beating cancer, being in car crashes, dog attacks, having my heart broken, all the things that we go through, really tragic and terrible things that hurt us, getting to the point where I still hear, you're not good enough, or you shouldn't do that, or you don't look good, or, that negative voice, I don't know that it ever goes away. And if it's never going to go away, we really need to think about how are we going to proceed? Are we going to live under the wave of confusion and be smashed and suffocated? Or are we going to fight back and get a fucking surfboard? Are you going to surf? Because I want to surf, and I'm really good at surfing now. Get the surfboard, Know that you can stay in flow, accept whatever you're feeling, and withdraw the energy. Choose to bring in a higher vibration, a higher, better thought, and surf the shit out of that, because I don't want to live under the wave of confusion. I mean, would you want to live under the wave of confusion your whole life? There's such a beautiful sea to see, and we can surf all over. So get a surfboard and figure out how you're going to surf over the negative things in your mind and the negative things around you. Create that sacred space and stay on your board. So I'll see you guys next week. In love we know, in love we flow. I love you guys. Have a good weekend.